Reselling Life.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of This Is Your Reselling Life. Tonight, we have the man, the myth, the legend, Reseller Down Under, all the way from Brisbane. Without any further ado, let's get the man himself up on the screen and start talking about his journey.
Hello,
G'day,
legend.
Damien.
Hey, mate. How you going?
Good. How are you?
Oh, mate, living the dream. Always
Busy
living the dream.
day?
Yeah. I guess so. If you call being home sick and doing absolutely nothing busy, then yes, I was very busy.
Wow. Well, thanks for showing up tonight. I'll have to write you a sick note and I'll sort you out tomorrow. So we're all here to hear about your story as a reseller. So I know you've been in the game for a little while now. What I want to know is sort of what got the ball rolling for you? What started your journey in the reselling game?
Awesome. So here we go. I'll pretty much start it from scratch. For those of you who know and those who don't, I started dipping my toe in reselling around mid-August, September, being extremely broke, constantly in debt. Saw a video of Gary Vee and was like, oh yeah, this seems quite easy. I'll give it a shot. Not knowing that, Gary Vee left out very important parts of consistency and the listing side of things.
Yeah.
But I thought I'd give it a shot. I've sold a pair of shoes of myself, and that pretty much started the journey. Used that money, went to thrift shops and watching Rally Roots and all the American resellers because there wasn't too many people here in Australia doing it. So did some research on that part, found a couple of items that sold, usually Levi jeans. I would pick up just pretty much Levi's because I was like, oh, this is a good brand. They're pretty cheap. I'll sell those. And just rinse and repeat, pretty much find the items. And I turned, $140 to $1,000 by the end of the year. And then said to myself, hey, at the start of the year, I think this could be a pretty big thing. So technically, at the start of the year, I decided to really put my foot on the pedal, so to speak. And, the rest is history. Thank you, Gary Vee, for giving me the motivation to actually start this journey.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think it's just that initial push, and then you just roll from there. It's crazy how quickly you can gain momentum. So we'll say good day to a few people in the chat before we kick off too much further. So Denny was first in. So thanks, Denny. Thanks for coming along. We got Ken. We got Bravo Charlie. Thanks for coming along. We got Pommy, obviously. Jazz, PDB, Nicole, Bron. Game on couple. Good evening to the Spice World. I'm not sure what that reference is to, but we'll go along with it. Here we go. Look, Mom, I'm hustling. Watcher 1421. And we got heaps in. Ryan Jackson, Ricky. I'll try and catch up. We've got Rob as well. Rob Horskins and Fashion Flipper. All right, guys, if you have any questions for Damo along the way, drop them in the chat. We'll try and get to them. Hopefully, Damo will be able to quell those queries for you. So my next question for you is your YouTube. So you started a while back now. You're very close to 1,000, so congratulations on that feat. What sort of fueled that fire to start a YouTube channel, and what got you going in that space?
Well, I had the YouTube channel up for a little while, and when I first was doing YouTube, I wanted to do fitness side. Those of you who really wanted to go back and see how much of an interesting human being I was in my young 20s, I have two YouTube channels. There's one that's called Damien Bray. You can see some very interesting videos up there. I've always been interested with YouTube. And then I started this channel originally for fitness related. Because I wanted to get in the bodybuilding scene. I wanted free subs because supplements were expensive. I can do YouTube videos showing me working out, getting fit. Supplement companies will sponsor me, and then the rest is history. Didn't really have the confidence, and it wasn't really much of a spark. And then obviously with the reselling side of things and seeing America absolutely killing it, like with Rally Roots, Rake and Profit, Bonafide Hustler, all those guys posting content up. I was looking at Australian resellers, saw a couple of YouTube channels, but no one was really posting. So I saw an opportunity there at the start of the year. Hey, what if I start posting things up on YouTube and maybe re-spark, or I could be the spark that gets everyone going, gets people going, hey, I can do YouTube videos if this guy can do it. And that's pretty much what it got going. Sorry, English. But yeah, pretty much I wanted to post content to show people that, hey, I can do it. And that, consistent video uploading, allowed me to build this audience to what it is now. And yeah, the rest is history. It's absolutely crazy. That you'd experience yourself is that you post just videos up of you going out to thrift shops, and that's what I wanted to do because I had such a passion for just literally going out shopping for treasures. And everyone, the followers, everyone just came along. It was weird. It's still a blur, absolute blur for me because it happened so quickly. The way I see it is that getting close to 1,000 subs is weird. Because the way I see myself is I'm just an average bloke who wanted to just start something, put myself on a screen and just have people come along for the journey and watch me grow. And then hopefully they can grow as well along the way. And now it's ridiculous. So I love it.
Yeah, definitely. I think watching from the start until now, like you can see that natural progression of how you've sort of changed what you're looking for and you sort of honed in your skill, and now you're trying to find those new type of items that you're sort of branching out now, which is really cool. And I think that's the best way to do it is you start in an area that you know and you just keep building. Denny saying, big fan of Damo's work and enjoy all the nice folk and the positive vibes in the little community. Awesome, Denny. We enjoy a good Damo video as well. Hopefully, you said you're going to be putting out some more pretty shortly as well, a bit more consistent.
Yeah. So I've actually I've recently recorded a few videos here. I've just got to do a whole bunch of editing and whatnot as well. So content will be coming out soon. I'm just trying to keep it fresh. I don't want to put out stale content all the time, and I want to put out stuff that's informative to you guys. But a lot of the times when I put out content, it's almost like a memory bank for me. So I can go back and go, oh, that's what I was talking about, or that's what I'm looking for. So a lot of the times I do the YouTube videos, it's ultimately for myself, so I can re-educate myself of what I'm looking for, because there's a lot of items out there, and you might have a bread and butter item, but then you've gone through thousands and thousands of items, and you forgot that one thing, and to go back and see it again, you go, oh, I remember that.
It's good. It's a good way to sort of timestamp your journey as well. Like you start off and you can see yourself building, and then you might sort of find yourself a flat spot, and you're like, okay, why did I start? And then you can kind of like build up again. I think it's a really good driver.
Yeah.
Need to help Damo get to 1,000 subs? Absolutely. Drew's got your back and dropped your channel in the link as well. So if you guys haven't subbed to Damo, let's get him to 1,000 as soon as possible. And hopefully there is some awesome stuff coming out soon. The best advice, just start. Absolutely. I think it's so critical. The more you think about stuff, the less you do. So it's just get in, make a few mistakes, and you'll learn as you go.
Crazy thing is people talk themselves out of getting into something. Like at the start, for me, that's why I'm so grateful for my stubbornness when Gary Vee was like, oh, sell things at home and then you can do it. If I knew what I knew now and told myself back then, I probably wouldn't be reselling, because I'd be like, that's just way too much work. I'm really lazy. No way. And the crazy thing as a human being is that you're so fired up about one thing, and if you don't do it straight away, you sit on it and you start to think about it. Don't get me wrong, it's great in some areas where you really think about something before you act. But a lot of the scenarios like this, and this is what I talk about a lot, is that people need to take risks, and business and life is all about risks. And if you sit on something and you let it wait, there could be an opportunity that just disappears and it's gone forever. So you just got to act. You've got this goal, you've got this dream, just take action. And if it doesn't work out, you learn from it.
Yeah. And I think one of the quickest way you learn is by making mistakes. And the more mistakes you make, the quicker you're going to upskill and get better. So we've made plenty and we're still making them. Damo has been such a transformational channel to watch tons of variety in the vids. Damo was probably the first Aussie reseller I watched on YouTube. Him and Reselling Rose, absolutely. lot of people out there who want to start reselling do not have a car. I think you're in the situation at the minute. Do you think it's possible, and how have you been doing?
Well, yeah, I don't have a vehicle at the moment. Luckily, Marla and I, we still keep in contact. We're still close. So the last video I did, she took me around. In saying that, there are op shops around, and I just use trains or buses. Thank God there's a Vinnie's up the road from me, and they've been stocking like Burberry, some really high class items. I looked at it and I said, "Oh, do you still have 50% off?" Which they had like weeks ago, and I managed to convince the ladies to give it to me for half price. I paid $10 for it, and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm going down south to the snowy mountains with my mates, and I love it." And they're like, "Oh, we'll do it for you." I'm like, I just lied to a charity shop, but it was a nice jacket. But then just do it. The fitness side of things. So like you're going to go out, you're going to walk. So the exercising, it's good for your health, but you've really got to cut out excuses. And not having a vehicle will not stop you from building your business. No. And it's your business, guys. It's your baby. And it won't grow unless you help it grow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Kelly's saying she resells without a car. It's not hard. You just got to find new ways of doing it, I suppose, and changing how you do things. So, here we go.
It's great when you have a car.
Yeah, it makes a difference, definitely. But you're able to find ways around that in this situation. I'll come back to this in a second, actually. But what I will ask you is, you mentioned just before that Marla has been, sort of helping you out, driving around and stuff. Now, the last 3 months have been probably, 3 to 4 months, I'd say, have been quite difficult for yourself. A lot of changes in your life. There was a loss in your family. Do you want to sort of talk a little bit about how that sort of set you back a little bit, and how you've sort of come through that and have refocused?
Yeah. Geez, like, how did it all start? Well, I think it all started. Marla and I, we were going through some tough times with Marla trying to find a job and everything like that. And that's been happening for years, ever since she graduated. The stress of that, which is, no fault of her own and whatnot. But the stress of, trying to find a career, me trying to build a business, it was very, very conflicting. And there's only so much support. And then, it was just the little things that got to us. Don't get me wrong, we still love each other. It's just the situations we're in now, we need to focus on each other. And then the day Marla and I separated, the next day my parents called me and said, "Hey, just let you know, your grandmother's got cancer. She's probably going into palliative care." She was still alive until recently. She's now permanently in palliative care. I've just been informed by my family. She's pretty much give her a couple of weeks, and but then to be told the next day about that, my grandmother and I, she pretty much created who I am. Very misunderstood boy at a very young age, didn't make any friends, constantly depressed, dealing with like the depression side of things, constantly bullied. She was like the rock. She created who I was, and I'm grateful for her. And then Marla comes back. We decide to go our separate ways. And then I haven't been reselling with, because I've been dealing with all this sort of stuff. And now the realization that I had to move out, and I had to find a place of my own. And thank God I built this store to about close to 600 items. To give you an idea, I only had 600 items, and I was still making sales every day. But instead of reusing that money to go out and build the business, I held it, because I was like, hey, I'm going to have to move out. I need this money. So I managed to, build up about $2,000 in 2 weeks from the eBay business, profit-wise. I always paid off my fees and everything like that. And then, moved out. Still wasn't thrift shopping. I stopped going to the gym just because of dealing with the emotions. I am human. People see me as rock, like even Marla. She was like, how are you not so emotional? I'm like, I am. It's just I deal with time. And it's kind of weird. Like moving out. Thank God for Robin. Robin will probably be in the chat, or she won't be. She shot me a message on Instagram and said, "Hey, do you need help moving out?" And pretty much the next day, she was there with her husband with this giant truck. Put all my stuff in there. I managed to find the place and got approved on the Thursday before then, and moved in on Saturday. Before I had to move out by Monday. And then, recently, my parents called me up again and said, hey, Nana is going into palliative care. She's getting worse. But in saying that, all this stuff has happened, and it happens to everyone. It's very, very, very unfortunate. But there's positives. My little brother is now a father to a 3-week-old, and he's absolutely beautiful. The kid, I forgot the kid's name. I should remember that because I'm an uncle. But the kid is beautiful. That's a little spark in sort of like the doom and gloom.
Yeah. You found the light in a bad situation, I suppose.
Yeah. And I always look at things in a positive aspect. With my grandmother, she told me a year and a half ago, she's like, I'm bored. I have 9 kids. I'm literally doing nothing here. I'd like to go. So that's her wish. I'm kind of grateful. She's now getting her wish, and she's very religious. So she believes she'll see her husband again, and that's what I want her to believe. So I'm grateful for that. Marla's got a job, and she's absolutely crushing it. She's learning a lot. So I'm grateful for her in the position that she's in. I have a unit, a 2-bedroom unit, one with storage. Yes, I'm slowly getting back into reselling. The hardest part is getting back into listing, and I've come to realization I hate it with a passion. A lot of the stuff is still sitting here from like last week, just because I'm trying to find that motivation to say, come on, Damien, get back on the horse. But things are falling into place again. Yes, I've had a hiccup. I've had a setback. You can tell with the YouTube as well. I wasn't posting, and I do apologize for that, guys.
But the thing is, you had to take a step back for your own mental ability as well. You can't always give. Sometimes you've got to take it inside and work on yourself, because if you're putting content out at that time, I'm sure it still would have been great, but you wouldn't have been fully engaged with that content, which is what you're trying to provide to the community. And you saw the influx of loving comments and support when you did release that first video back again. So I think a lot of the time adversity builds character, and it refocuses you in a way. It sort of drags you down to the bottom of what you can be, and then you have to slowly rebuild yourself, but you rebuild yourself better. So,
and I'm literally rebuilding my eBay store again. Like, I built it to a position where I was making 2 sales a day, and it was great. It was fantastic. I was seeing results. I had less hours at work. Now I'm increasing my hours at work because of the responsibilities of rent, electricity, gas, all that sort of stuff. But eBay isn't in. My store has been crippled because of the situation, but I'm okay with it. I'm absolutely okay. And same with YouTube. When I was putting out content, the reason why I put out content is because I loved it. And you could possibly see that, when I'm recording on the videos, like, I was having fun. And with everything that was happening, I would try to, and I just couldn't feel it. The amount of times I've deleted things off my phone just because I felt like there was no energy there. And that's why I went on live on Instagram. And I think there was a big spark for people who kind of got worried. I would go live on Instagram so people can see what's really going on. And I didn't want to bring that to YouTube, because YouTube for me it is positivity. Yes, it is me being real, but I'm putting content up there that I love, and I want people to absorb that energy that I'm bringing.
Yeah, and with that Instagram, it's like a short caption in time, where YouTube's going to stay there forever. So, people could see your journey in a different way at that point in time, but that's not who you are ongoing. That's just that short little snippet in your life. So, I think you did the right thing for yourself, and your channel is going to continue to grow as you start releasing more stuff. I don't think you've hampered that at all. It's just you've just changed, and that little period of time was just a little blip in the radar. So
100%.
Here's a good question from Drew. Are you looking at other avenues to expand your business outside of eBay?
Yes. Forever looking. I am still looking into wholesaling a lot. Like, for me, listing is great. Treasure hunting is fantastic. But if I can find the items and have the items come to me in a bulk quantity, and I can sell them, even at a 20, 30, 40%, whatever rate, without having to go out there and source it, then I'd be happy. I've still been looking at Amazon. Amazon in Australia is still a little ridiculous at the moment. I've been looking at other avenues. Yes, eBay, but I've been looking at sourcing avenues to sell on eBay. So that's what I'm at the moment. Facebook Marketplace, I believe, yes, has a great opportunity for select items. But if you put up mundane items or whatever, you're going to deal with a lot of crap. Even when you put up select items that sell really well, you're still going to deal with crap. And honestly, my time is very valuable to me because it's my time. And I don't want to waste it dealing with people that want to waste my time.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'd stick with building, my eBay business, but I'm looking at other sourcing avenues at this point in time.
Yeah, I think now that you've sort of had to take out of your business, it's just going to be that sort of rebuild, and then once you get back to that level, that's when you can start looking at other options. It's just that building it back to a position where you were before, kind of thing. Bron's saying, "Damn, you've been through the ringer. Hope all comes good for you." Absolutely. Such good times, Damo. You're strong and have been hustling hard to get head by water. And that's what reselling provided you, is it provided you an out. It provided you something that you didn't have before. So
reselling literally saved my life. Like I've told Mala agrees. I've told everyone, if I didn't build my business to what it is now, I'd be screwed.
Yeah.
If I didn't have that $2,000, I didn't have money. I'd still be in debt because financially I wasn't savvy. I have this mentality. My parents know it. I can't work for the man. My bosses know it too. I have this mentality. I have to do me. I have to focus on me. I have to build something for me. Yes, I'm biting the bullet and working at Big W still, but I have to work for me. And if I didn't create the business that I've created now, I'd be absolutely screwed. So reselling has literally saved my ass.
Yeah, it's crazy. Debbie does sales. Hello, y'all. All new to this channel. Oh, thanks for coming along. That's awesome.
Hey.
Great. Make sure you sub to Damo. He's real close to 1,000. So, wow, life is a roller coaster. Yep. Welcome, Deb. Try and catch up with the chat. We're a little bit behind. Sometimes you need to take care of yourself, so you have the strength to go forward. Absolutely.
Thanks, Robert.
Love your IG streams. Here we go. That's for Debbie. It takes time to rebuild your life. Just do it at your own speed. Absolutely. Yep. Mel's in as well. Amazon. Morning from Seattle, USA. Thanks for coming in. That's awesome.
Hey, man, how are you?
All right, we've caught up with the chat. That's awesome. It took us a bit there. So I guess my question to you is, you come into the reselling space, and you saw that gap in the market, and you started putting out YouTube channel, and what is the sort of value level that you want to be adding? Are you looking at going down that sort of like daily refinement way, where you're going to start like providing daily update lives when you get to that level, where you sort of going more down the rake and profit, or do you have sort of like someone that you aim to be, or are you just doing your own thing?
Well, it's always good to get ideas and whatnot. They always say you want to duplicate success to achieve success. Rake and Profit, Daily Refinement, Rally Roots, Bonafide Hustler, they all have their own little things they bring. And with my channel and way I want to see myself going, is I've picked a little bit from all of them. I'm like, okay, I like that, I like that, I like that. And I'm going to mash it into my own. So I want to bring the entertainment value that Rally Roots bring. I want to bring the knowledge value that Rake and Profit and Daily Refinement bring. And I want to bring the fun that Bonafide Hustler, because Bonafide Hustler, there's something about him and his brother. I get their sort of humor, and they seem fun. Rally Roots has the entertainment. They have some good quality videos, and they do well. And Rake and Profit and Daily Refinement drop knowledge. They're just absolutely knowledgeable. And that's all that I want to bring into my channel. That's ultimately where I see my YouTube channel going. I want to have a bit of everything. I want to have a bit from every basket, mash it up into my own big thing.
Damo's world. Sorry, Peter, I did miss your question. Great attitude to make the content you like watching, but you also have to be your biggest critic. How are you going to level up your content? Obviously, be more consistent, but what type of future content are you looking to provide?
Pretty much like what I was just explaining before. I want to bring out more knowledge-based as well as entertainment. And don't get me wrong, I critique my videos all the time. That's like when I'm editing my videos, I'm like, I don't like this, and I watch it, and I'm always looking at improving. And yes, that's why a lot of the times, even with this last couple of months, me going MIA, sometimes I won't post up videos because I'm like, this just feels stale. And I'm like, yeah, I could put it up there to get the views and to get the people commenting and, being very supportive, which is great. But I'm like, I need to add value to my viewers. I need to add value to the people that take the time out of their day to watch this mug talk for however long I want to talk. So I definitely want to add value to the future with a mix of entertainment as well.
Always be yourself, never be someone else. It has already been done. Absolutely. Good advice. Rally Roots and Steve Rakin are both the same in private as they're online. They are great. Ali Roots is a hoot. Zach wants to see you do a bit of trash picking. So I'm sure that will come out at some point.
Oh, definitely. If I see an opportunity in the bin, I will record it. Just for you,
some random retro toy hanging out top of it. So you mentioned that you've sort of been working on your business since sort of this time last year, I suppose now. So in that time, what has been your best flip? Like, what is the thing that stands out to you the most?
God, I have so many. Like, it's crazy because I have so many items that I picked up for $1 or whatever and have sold for 200 plus. Like, usually people go, oh, I've got this one good flip, but the 200 range, picking up for $1 and around 200 seems to be my best flip. So the Warhammer book, lots. Like, I've sold at least 7 or 8 of those books for 200 each, and I paid $1.50 for each. But the one that stands out the most and the one that's my favorite is the Tankard mug that I picked up at that church sale, the garage sale. Like, I picked it up for $2 on a hunch, saw 49 or 50, and I sold that for 200. But it's the way I sold that mug, which is memorable because I had it for 200 up on eBay. I got a message from a guy because he was doing research on it, and he wanted to use the pictures. And I was like, okay. And I put it up on the group a little while back. I think some guys might remember it. And then he goes, oh, I don't think this is real, but I would, if I was going to pay for it, I'd pay $150. And I said, okay, mate, that's no dramas. You can use a picture. We stopped talking. I raised the price to $250 after that conversation because I was like, I've got a funny feeling this dude's going to pull a fast one. So I raised the price, and a couple of weeks later, he comes back and he offers me $200 for the mug. $50 the price that I originally wanted. So I accepted. He paid for it straight away. I bomb-proofed because I put it in Instagram. Literally, he put me in the comment saying, it's bomb-proof packaging, very, very happy. So I was like, good on you. But that's very memorable for me because one, I paid $2 for it and sold it for $200. But the way the transaction went with this buyer, it was fun. It seemed really fun for me.
Ken saying, I enjoy these streams with flippers talking between each other. I find it more valuable than most other videos on YouTube. That's awesome. That's what we want to sort of bring. That's what these are for. So thanks for that. That's awesome. I think when you were saying about like that mug, it just reminds me of how many untapped markets there are that, even as resellers that have been in 2 years or 10 years or 20 years, whatever you've been, there's always something that you don't know. And I think that's the exciting thing is that you can always learn in this game. Is there a category that you're sort of looking at to learn now? Like, I know for ourselves, we want to start looking into women's bags and shoes because we just don't know it. Is there a category that sparks your interest?
Well, because I haven't become a master at the categories I'm working at the moment, I still want to stick with the categories. Like, and saying that, I'm not on one category. I'm on so many different categories. And because I'm not a master at those categories, I'm still working on those. Women's stuff, like, yes, I'll pick up some women's shoes and whatnot. If they say made in Italy and I know the brand, yes, I'll pick them up. But I'd probably stay away from because when I pick up items, I try to put myself in a buyer's perspective, but then I also put myself in the perspective and I look at women's clothes like, I'm not going to wear this. Who else would wear this? So I don't even bother picking it up. And the way I see it, it's just too much of a headache. But, with books, with clothing, with jeans, everything else at the moment, especially with the new eBay item policy thingy they got going at the moment, I really want to become a master at books, at shoes, and at the jeans before I tried to branch out into anything else.
Yeah, and I think that's sound advice, because even within the jeans category, there's 100 different brands that you could potentially pick up and sell for good money, and we probably only know 20. Do you know what I mean? There's 5 times as many as we currently know that are still out there that we can both benefit from learning. So
100%. And that's why we do these videos, is because we push up content that people don't know. Oh, I've never seen this item before, but I've seen it in my shop. I might pick it up because it sells. And that's what's good about doing these YouTube videos, is that, and I do it on a weekly. That's why I do the weekly drive alongs and that with me, because I don't know what I'll find. And then I'd love for other people to see it as well. Yeah,
it's crazy. And I think that thrill of a hunt is what everyone watches for, because they're like, oh, what are you going to get next? Drew is saying he wants to see the beard growing. So you have to put out some slow-mo videos of the beard growing. Zach saying, come and visit. Zach to run a curbside boot camp.
That's cool.
Jazzy reckons she'd go to that boot camp. That'd be awesome. I'll fly to Sydney, or behind the chat. Trash picking tours down under.
There we go.
I'm struggling with owning up to be a reseller. I feel like people would judge me and not agree with buying from charity to make money. Did either of you struggle with this way of thinking?
Yep. Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I have told my family. I've learnt to never tell my family anything because they don't understand. That's why I really don't talk to them as much anymore, which is okay. Love them to death, but I'm on a different path. I've also told a few work colleagues. There was one work colleague that thought what I was doing was so immorally wrong that I was stealing from the poor. Ultimately, I turn around and tell those people, and I've said this before and I'll say it again, I've given more to charity this year alone than some people will in their entire lifetime, all because reselling allowed me to make a little bit of money, and I gave it back and duplicated it. So usually that shuts them up. A lot of the time they and ah, and they give you this disapproving look, but straight up that they're like, oh, okay, I'll stay quiet.
Yeah.
People, at the end of the day, if someone's going to give you slack for finding another way to create something, to become something better and create that business, well then, you look at their life in 5 years' time. You focus on your reselling business, build that in 5 years' time, see how big you've gone, and then you look back at their life and go, what have you done? Guarantee it's the same thing. They haven't changed.
I think you got to take pride in what you do and celebrate your wins. Like when I first started, I was very, like you said, like I was sort of a bit, I'm not really sure about telling people. But now when I talk about it with people come back to me and ask questions. They like, how can I do that? How can I earn money for myself? People at work will send me a message in my work email like, how do I ship an item to America? And I'm like, can I talk at lunch or something? Like, it's crazy. So I think more and more people are getting more and more open to this, because everyone struggles in life and everyone needs to find a way to get more money. So, don't be shy. I think just own it. Like, you're providing.
At the end of the day, you got to think of these irritating people as like dust in your eye. It irritates you at the start, but it will go away. And it's your life. No one really cares about you but you. When you look down into the deep dark of being a human being, we all are in it for ourselves, because we all have our own lives. Yes, we have people along the way that come along for the journey, but we do things because we want a better life. Why would someone care about what you're doing? They don't.
And if they do, it's more a reflection on them than yourself. So
100%.
Fairy of sarcasm. Worst thing about telling people people giving you their trash and junk to resell. That's a fair call. Denny's saying something my mum says she likes that in the world full of one-use, single-use items that we make a living out of recycling. Like Zach says, one item at a time. Absolutely. Just tell them you're buying wholesale and selling retail. Yep. Here we go. We had a huge problem when we told people in our life, especially from the collector community. Yeah, so Game On Couple do a lot of like gaming gear, obviously, and that's a very a very interesting market, because if you're a collector, they look down on you as a seller. So we had a bit of problem with it too, because I had some gaming stuff that I sold off just to fund the start of it, and yeah, it wasn't great. Donate about 20K a year charity, absolutely. Don't give excuses. Tell them. I won't finish that sentence. Those people have no idea how many clothes they donate gets thrown away by charities anyway. Charities have never ending supply of clothes. Yep. Rod doesn't suffer any BS. Absolutely. And people are loving this little bit in chats. I'm out of control. Yep. The dog eat dog world. So true. Great fun. We met Rob the other night at Savers. So thanks, Rob, for coming along. Great fun meeting you guys at Savers last Friday. Deb's fly out to US on Thursday, but may pop in Friday night myself. That was awesome running into you. In the world of business, we are some of the least harmful. We fund charities and recycle. Absolutely. Yep. There's Damo's link again. 19 subs away from 1,000. If we go long enough, we might hit it tonight.
All of you should start up 5 YouTube channels and subscribe.
And just sub it. So we've just talked about your best flip. What's the worst deal that you've ever done? And if you look back, do you ever think, man, I should never have bought that?
Yep, I'll actually pull it up. I won't pull it up on here, but I've got it on my spreadsheet. See if I can find it in a second. Sorry, guys. Can you still see me on the webcam?
Yep.
All right. I can't see you guys.
Steph's actually saying, thanks for the answers all. Looks like I just need to grow some balls. It's a bit rough.
June, July. This was amazing. Like, I have picked up a couple of things, like the R.N. Williams boots that I sold recently ended up being fake.
Yeah.
So I refunded the buyer.
Was that? It wasn't orange. It was Doc
Martens, Doc Martens. Yeah, Doc Martens. Sorry. All right, I'm not going to take forever, but pretty much I picked up an item and I think I only made like 15 cents. It sat there forever, and I took a best offer because it was sitting here forever, but I made 15 cents. I took it as a positive. There's a couple of items where the lowest I've made was 15 cents, and I've made like 50 cents on a couple of items, which have just sat there. I take it as a profit. At the end of the day, I put into the account of the money I spent on the item, so I've gotten that money back plus an extra couple of cents. So it's always a win. But I've had a lot of items where they've been returned. Sometimes they've been returned because I listed them as a men's clothing item, but they were women's. A Burberry top that I've got on my store, it's a women's top. I don't know why I put men's. The dude put it on. It was really cool, but it was a bit tight on him. He sent me a picture. I was like, yo, bro, I'm sorry. Send it back. He's like, it's a nice top, but I don't think it's my size. So that's a women's top. But yeah, I've had a couple of items. There's so many items I've sold at such a low profit, but because I made my money back, I could always reinvest that into something else. Yeah, so I guess there's no such thing as like a worst item. They're just items that sit there forever.
Yeah. There's always something you look back and you're like, man, if I was back again, I wouldn't buy it. So I think that's it.
Sorry, yeah.
So while we're there, if you could change one thing in your reselling journey, what would it be?
Oh, damn. I don't know. Like, because it's been such a crazy roller coaster for me at the moment. By the way, Marla's here at the moment, guys. You could probably hear in the background. I wouldn't change anything personally, just because everything's been such a learning curve for me, and it's allowed me to grow into the man that I am right now. And the future growth, because like Steve Jobs said, you can't connect the dots moving forward. I'm always looking forward to seeing where the dots go in the future. So I personally wouldn't change anything because I'm happy with the mistakes I've made. I'm happy with the successes I've had with this journey. Everything's been fun.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's that's the successful people look at opportunities like that. So if you made a mistake, what did you gain out of that rather than what did you lose?
Yeah.
We've got a little sneaky high miler.
Yeah.
Debbie's saying I would learn about shipping and how not to lose money.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever lost money on international shipping. I've always made money.
Yeah.
I think you might be the same. You might have had maybe one or two, but I've always made money on international shipping.
Yeah, you learn pretty quick how to get around it.
Yeah.
Denny is asking Damo tips on fast listing best practices for time management efficiency.
Okay. So pretty much I've learned a bit off Brad, actually, especially with the phone and doing a draft on your phone and then just copying and pasting. That was a very useful tip. For me, I use those drafts. So I'll have like a template of tops and I'll have my own little description listing. I'll have bottoms and then I'll have others, which is just miscellaneous items, which obviously doesn't need the measurements, which I put into the description.
Yeah.
Pretty much what I do there is on my phone, type in the listing. I usually, I'd never go through the sell similar. I don't know, because for some reason when I look at all the items on the sell similar and their titles, they look so bad. I'm just like, I'm going to redo mine unless I find one of mine and then I'll select it. From there, I take the photos, the description that I've saved on the phone already. I paste that onto this description, put in the measurements. So I just do some taping and whatnot. And then the only thing I do off my laptop is the international shipping side of thing. So I'll do everything else. I'll do the pricing, hit save draft. So then all it takes is 2 seconds for me to go onto the laptop, type in the international shipping, and it's done. So if I wanted to, it could possibly take me about, if I was doing it really fast and just pumping through it, could take me about a minute and a half, maybe 2 minutes to do one item.
Yeah, once you find that sort of that process that works for you, it can literally change your life in reselling. So
like that's clothing for me. So like that's saying clothing. Like normal items like DVDs, books and whatnot, it doesn't take much to just go flat, back, sides.
Yeah.
Any imperfections, take that and you're done. Like clothing is tedious because I'm gonna say it straight up. I've never ironed anything here. All of my listings, but I've gone there, looked at it, and I've flattened it out. And I seem to manipulate photos with the lighting, which is great, and it looks good. But clothing is very tedious. But when you're listing games, books, it should take you a minute if you put that into place. But you'll find your own way. Like everyone has their own way.
Definitely. Speaking of worst items, anyone want to buy DJ Hero off me? Good luck with that, Drew.
I just donated 3 Guitar Heroes plus a drum kit and DJ Hero, I believe, to the salvos. I rocked up with it. I bought it for $50 with the Warhammer lot, and I was too lazy to fix the guitars, and I didn't want to really test them, so I ended up donating them. Sometimes it's not worth it.
Yeah, definitely. I think Liz said something about donating back because it's not worth it sometimes. Here we go. Sometimes it's just best to donate back as it would cost you more. Yep. Rod's saying if there wasn't a fire ban, I'd make a funeral pyre of all of my crappage and burn it. That's so good. Make sure you guys head over to Rod's channel as well, Pommy Picker. Tomorrow night he's got his Wednesday waffle that he does with Andrew or Drew. And tomorrow night they've got an international guest on, so that will be really awesome as well. Nick, who has a massive channel over in the UK. Rob, what other platforms do you use? You're saying that you don't really use too many more at the moment.
Yeah. So just sticking with eBay. Have looked at Amazon because I am looking at wholesaling at the moment, but because of Amazon's pricing and everything at the moment, and with the way Facebook Marketplace is with the, let's say, time wasters, I'd have a better word for them, but I want to keep this video rated. eBay would be the way to go, but I'm looking at wholesaling just for eBay at this point in time.
Yeah. Retros have popped in, so thanks, guys. Thanks for coming along. It's good to see you. What you donate guitars, spares. Look out for DJ Hero with a gold mic. Burn the rest. Here you go. Other than two Aussie thrifters, who's your favorite Australian reselling YouTube channel?
In Australia,
Australia.
besides the drifters, it'd have to be retro. It's kind of like with those guys, I get their humor.
Yeah.
I understand where some people come from, where they don't get the humor that they do, but I get they're sort of like they're Australian couple. Like it's Australia, mate. The way they act, it's just like that's how my mates would act. So I'd say retro rescuers, yourself, two Aussie thrifters, and then there's also We Flipping Good Stuff, Brad. There was Cam when he was doing it, but it'd have to be two Aussie thrifters and retro rescuers at this moment in Australia who are posting content. I know there's a lot of you guys that do put out, I know, like, Look Mum, I'm Hustling. I do like a lot of the way they edit the videos and their thumbnails. I'm actually quite jealous because I'm looking at their footage. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah.
So Look Mum, I'm Hustling is definitely definitely they're on their way.
Up and coming.
Fantastic.
Well,
I need to get tips.
Petey films most of their stuff, so I'm sure he'll take a compliment out of that.
Awesome.
Yeah, Petey's their like third person.
I'd love to have someone record me as well, like while I'm just going to have that sort of like, because at the moment you just see this and this, where I'd love to have someone see all of this. I don't know, it just feels more, I don't know, I guess besides personal, it's just, it's fun. Yeah.
And same, we love retros as well. Look Mum are definitely on the rise. Can't wait for Zach to put some more content out because I love seeing his curbside pickups.
Yeah.
And obviously Reseller Down Under, smashing the subs and doing a great job. So he just pushes in front and throws for himself, Petey. It's not starting any fights on the channel, guys.
Bring it on.
So I've got a couple more questions. If anyone else wants to ask any questions, please do. How are you finding reselling now that it's pretty much yourself all the time doing it? Has it become harder? Have you found something that's working for you as an individual now?
Now that I'm flying solo, so to speak, I wouldn't say it's harder. Like, things are hard. That's because you've made them believe that it's hard. That's the way I see it. It is a little difficult, but I've really just got to find my own way again. Where back then, Marla would just be by my side and be like, "All right, I'll do this. Can you do this?" And it made it so much easier. I didn't feel like I was doing all this work, and it was great. Now I've got to get myself like, okay, I have to do everything myself. But I've just got to find my own groove again, and that will take time. You know, especially people know this with reselling is that when you started to where even from 5 months' time, it's completely different, and that's because you've built up habits, you've changed ways which work for you, which you enjoy. But for me, I've just got to really build up a habit again and just find something that works for me. So I wouldn't say it's difficult or hard. I wouldn't say it's hard at the moment. It is a little bit difficult, but that's just because, you know, I've got to put myself in that mindset of, you know, this is still my business and I'm responsible. Get your ass off the chair and get it done. That's just me.
I think building up that listing routine again is the biggest challenge. Like, we had a period after we moved house where we dropped off for a little bit, and it took us a while to really get back into it. And now there isn't too many days except for tonight where we're not doing 10 a night. Like, that's just our standard practice, and it doesn't even feel like you're doing it anymore. It just becomes your habit. So yeah, I think you just got to keep at it, and it'll come back for sure. 17 more subs, guys, to get Reseller Down Under 2,000. Smashing through tonight, mate. That's awesome. Zach saying, nice to see you having a shirt on during your vids demo.
I was going to wear a singlet, but yeah, I thought of Zach and Zach's mum. I remember that one comment. Your mum was like, he shouldn't be wearing his gym gear. I'm like, but I wear gym gear.
This is my life. Here's a good question. Damien, are you still pursuing the army? You were talking about that a while back.
Yeah. So funny story about that, guys. I wanted to rejoin the army. I had a lot of other pressures telling me to rejoin. And I did miss it. I'm not going to lie. I really, don't get me wrong, I was in the infantry. It didn't take much to dig a hole, sit in it with your rifle, but I was good at it. You know, I was good at shooting targets. I was good with taking orders. But then that would go against me being my own boss. Turns out when I reapplied way back in the old rules where you only had to pass year 9. Now, I never passed year 10, which today's society, you need a minimum year 10 passing to get into anything.
Yeah, right.
So I've only ever passed year 9 because I've had that mindset of like, I'm going to join the army. There's no point in school. School sucks. It's completely useless for real work sort of things. So I can't join the army until I go back to TAFE and get my year 10 certificate, which I look at that and I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to keep doing reselling because it's more beneficial. I love it. The community that I have built around me and the community that has grown outside of that is insane. And I just want to keep that going. You know, the random people that you meet is insane. And it's great. And it's very supportive. I wouldn't get that if I rejoined the military. I'd go back to my 6-foot bulletproof. Like, I was tough. My parents were at a stage where were very afraid of me because I would snap because I couldn't stand civilians.
Yeah.
I was different compared to what I was now.
Yeah.
But I'm grateful that I only ever passed year 9. And, you know, I'm proud of it. You know, I can say to people, when I'm successful, I hated school and I never passed year 10. Like where I am now.
I'll have to be honest. When you're talking about the army, I was like, man, because when you first came in, you were talking about how the army had sort of changed the way you thought about stuff, and you really struggled with that. And I was concerned that you're going to put yourself back in that position. I was like, I really wanted you to work it out that wasn't right for you because your drive is so different to that. And I'm glad that that's come back into focus because I think at the time you're going through a challenging time and that challenged your thought pattern as well. So
and that's why I'm grateful with the communities because a lot of these people have probably seen me going through some things. And with me, I've always had this mindset of I'm always alone. And now that I've built this community has built around my channel, and then the Australian reseller group has grown so much, and I've been a part of that. To have that community come to me and go, "Hey, man, no, you'll be okay." It really allowed my head to become clear, saying that, "Hey, you know, these people care about me. I care about them, and I have a responsibility to them. You know, so why would I go against that?" You know, and that comes down to accountability. So I am forever grateful for every single person that's in this chat and who is not in this chat to allowing me to get my head straight. So thank you so much, guys. I appreciate it.
Damo needs to get involved in Thrift of Fortune 3-way challenge with 2 Aussie thrifters. We'll be keen. Yes, more challenge vids. Jazz is saying 2 Aussie thrifters are too rebellious to do challenges. This all stems down to our very grey item that they graciously passed. But he has said challenge properly. Shots fired. PDB, you're the man that ticked it off, so I wouldn't be talking too much game in here. Have you been deported when you're in the army?
Like deployed? No.
Yeah, deported. Get out.
Goodbye. I'm grateful I wasn't. So when I joined the army and I was 18, if I had have continued, I would have gone to Afghanistan because all of my mates went there. And I'm grateful I didn't go because one of my mates was killed over there. I was, that's a little touchy subject.
Yeah, it's hard, especially in that army setting. Like I've got mates that have joined the army, and I've seen them change as people. I struggle with it because I know who they are really, but in that army setting, you become a different person because of the way you're trained, and those people that you're with are your brothers really. So it is hard when that sort of thing happens. So I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah,
man. Like it is what it is. Like a lot of my mates came back. One of the guys, Firth, who is very, very funny. He was a comedian, came back and he wasn't that anymore. I found out what happened, and the guy that was killed, I spoke to him the day before he was being deployed, and I said, "Hey, mate, be safe. Come back and tell me all about it." And obviously, that never happened. It sucks, but I'm grateful because. I would have gone with them. I would have loved to have been with them to go through the shit. But I'm grateful I didn't because who knows what sort of space I would be in. Where would I be?
Yeah. Damo, how old are you? So you mentioned the other day you're 29, correct?
29. That is correct.
So when's the big 3-0?
August the 7th. I only turned 29 recently. So August the 7th is when I'm 30.
Beautiful. Just need to build anticipation for round 2. No more PDB adjudicating too soon. Zach seems to be more impartial. Here we go. Retro said, what is the end goal, Damo? Love hearing about other people's dreams.
Yep. So my end goal, I guess my own goal is, yes, to have I've had sort of like dreams from Rally Roots and whatnot, seeing where they've built it. I would love to build a YouTube channel up, which has gone absolutely crazy. I'd love to have my own warehouse. I'd love to quit my own job. Definitely get into wholesaling. I just ultimately want to make my life easier. I think I can't remember the post, but I said I wanted to be free. My end goal is to be free. And for me, that's my driving factor. I want to have a massive warehouse. I want to have staff. I want to have constant supplies and stock coming in and going out. My goal is so big. Looking at it now scares the living crap out of me because I don't think it's possible. So yes, I want to build a big YouTube channel and I want to have a big warehouse and I want to live free in my own way.
Absolutely. Fashion Flipper, do either of you prefer auction or buy it now? So go ahead, Damon.
I've never done auction.
No, we've done 1 or 2, and they didn't work out. So we do everything buy it now. I just don't think.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was saying I look at auctions for people that are sick of putting things up on their store and I want to buy, but I never put auctions to sell.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think in Australia we just don't have the people to drive auctions. Like in America, there's so many people there that the competition's there, whereas here you might get 1 or 2 people if you're lucky, and you're not going to get bid up. So, Jazz is saying we're grateful you didn't go to Damo.
Thank you.
Here we go. If you're not scared, it's not worthwhile. Yeah. 100%. Liz is saying, I feel for you, Damo. Our government has a lot to answer for. We train our defense to fight, but don't retrain them to reintegrate back into normal life. Yeah.
So pretty much when I left, they paid me and they said, see you later.
Yeah, it's hard.
That was it. Oh, yeah. It was hard. It took me 2 to 3 years and I went through a massive dark place in that time frame for me to get out.
Yeah. Well, we're glad you did. Thank you both for your advice. You're more than welcome. That's what we all try to do, try and help out where we can.
Definitely.
What about items that don't have any comps or info on? Hard to price. What do you do?
Google. Google is your best friend.
Yeah.
Like, don't even when people message on the Facebook group, I see that, and then I want to just look at Google, but I don't want to come across as a dick. Sorry for the language, but literally when I sold this mug I bought for $2 and sold for $200, there was no comps on eBay. There was nothing of the sort. So I Googled it. I'm like, what is this? I Googled it. Turns out it was this sort of mug, and there were ones similar that never sold on eBay, but sold somewhere else for around the same price range. So I was like, oh, you know what? And these are sold on these sites for this price. What if I do that on eBay? Let's see what happens. And it sits there for 6 months, close to 12 months, and you haven't sold it. And you're like, well, maybe you priced it a bit too high. Lower it. Yeah. But something will take time and research, but Google is your best friend.
Yeah, you can find amazing stuff on there. And I think over time, you start getting a bit of an understanding of just intrinsic value as well. You start understanding what stuff's worth without even sort of looking it up. Obviously, those items that you don't pick up all the time are harder, but you do get an idea, I think.
Anything has a percentage of, like, let's just say 23 of 500. You know that there was only 500 of those items made. Maybe it's worthwhile picking up.
Definitely. Auctions are good for collectibles with international shipping, nothing else. Absolutely. High demand items are worth auctioning, like iPhones. Ask me sometime about why I still use auctions mixed in with my listings.
Okay.
Hey, Jenny, do you still use auction mixed in with your listing? I will never auction or have any other offer. Too many people complaining with non-payers. Yep. Best flips have been auctions. Yeah, I think it's just the markets. What lessons did you learn from Q4 Christmas time last year that will help going into this year?
You'll be able to answer this more than me. Like I'll say my response is that I was just getting into eBay and dipping my toe. I didn't really have too much of an opportunity. All the money I was reinvesting into op shops. This will be the biggest lesson of all because I have a little bit more stock. It'll be interesting to see what happens with my store around Q4 time. But last year, it wasn't much of a lesson for me. This will be my first ever full experience with Q4.
Yeah. Last year was our first Q4, and we did learn from it. And there are a few things that we're going to be implementing this year. I'm actually thinking about doing a video on it just to try and help people out a little bit. So I'll probably do that shortly, and then you guys can watch it back. Denny's saying you have to get me on your show. Absolutely, mate. I'll have you on. No worries at all. That's awesome. Have either of you used Terapeak for comps? It's not great, but sometimes we'll give you some good info. It's free if you have a store subscription.
I haven't personally used it. I like to look at things myself. Like, yes, it'll probably be easier, but I like to do a little bit of research because I feel like I get more knowledge in that aspect. That's just my personal opinion.
I've been aware of Terapeak, but I usually do everything from my phone, and it's a bit clunky to get there from the phone. So we sort of either Google or just look at eBay and try and find something. I'm sure a lot of our homeless could possibly come from our defense forces without having the support. You have stayed so strong, my friend. Yeah, that's absolutely correct. Thank you for the great tip on Google. Just never thought of that. Yeah, and I think sometimes it just takes someone to say something to like spark that knowledge, and now you'll know it forever.
Yeah.
What does Q4 means? That's Q4 of the year, the last 3 months, which is the Christmas build up, which is usually the biggest period. So do you have a goal for Q4 this year, Damon? Do you have a amount you want to hit or a listing number? Or
it's kind of weird. Like I'm just going to keep. My goal is to keep chipping away where I am at the moment. Like my biggest goal for this year was to make 10 grand profit, which like that's easy. Like it's done. Like that big goal is like, okay, no problems. For Q4, I don't really have a goal. It's just to just keep listing, keep doing what I'm doing now, keep putting up items and staying consistent. And then, I'm doing a bit of RA. Those of you, if anyone's in the chat that works for me, I'm not doing retail arbitrage at work. That doesn't happen. But I'm doing a bit of retail arbitrage, finding opportunities. And then I'm just going to see what happens with my store. Because this year I know it's going to be a little bit slower than the years to come. But if I sell a lot of items, or if I sell items that I've bought in bulk and they sell a lot more, then I know which direction I have to go. But yeah, this whole year is just a big learning curve. So Q4 is just, it's up in the dark. I don't have any goals. I just want to keep listing, keep doing what I'm doing, and I want to see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. What's your viewpoint on international shipping?
Oh, my viewpoint, Rod. People should be doing it. Unless you're trying to ship a TV or anything over 5 kilos, do it. Like I do sell items. Yes, I sell more items here in Australia than I do overseas. But when I sell items overseas, I haven't sold anything in Australia, and that one item has sold here in Australia. For me, that's a positive because I've made a sale that day. So, and yes, you will always, because I have best offer on pretty much all my items, I'll always receive a very low offer from someone overseas because obviously the shipping is expensive.
Yeah.
But, I think international shipping is great. We have a small market here, but then now there's 7 billion people you're targeting, so to speak. Obviously there's less than that, but you really got to open up your business to opportunities. If you're not, you're shooting yourself in the foot.
Yeah, absolutely. And especially on like sort of more unique stuff, it's definitely worth it. There's certain items that in Australia we get that others don't. So there's plenty of opportunities there. And once you've done it once or twice, it's not that big a deal, honestly. It's not that hard. Do you both source for upcoming seasons well before the season, i.e. summer clothes, or wait till the season is here?
It's kind of weird. Like I'll always source like jumpers, you name it. And yes, they might sell in winter, but a lot of the mindset with sourcing products is that we're summer over here, overseas it's winter. You know, I always look, there's always somewhere, there's a market, there's always something, there's always someone wanting something. It might not be in your place. And that's always about thinking outside the box. You might find a jacket and you go, well, it's not winter, might not pick it up. But you know that's a very high selling jacket. Pick it up anyway, because you don't know, someone overseas might want to buy it.
Yeah. Yep.
So that's just my thoughts on that, is that, you know, I don't really buy for seasons. If I find an opportunity, I pick it up because I want to take that chance and I want to see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I'm very similar in that I'll buy whatever all year round. I think that subconsciously I'm thinking sort of 3 months in advance from now. So I'm sort of thinking ahead of time what's going to be happening in 3 months' time that I could potentially be looking outside of my normal scope to pick up. But generally, if I see an item that doesn't matter if it sells now or in 6 months, if I know I'm going to make money on it, I'll buy it.
Awesome. I'd just like to say too, guys, there's about 50-something people in the chat. There's only 10 likes. So if some of you guys could smash the like button, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Well said, Damo. Plus, there's always people going on holiday. Absolutely. Yep, grab it when you see it. Do you guys list in season? I list when I get the stuff if I don't have a backlog.
Yep. That's it. Yeah. Yep. If it's not on your store, it won't sell, and you won't know if it sells until it's up on your store. So just put it up there and see what it says. Yeah.
No seasons on the internet. I think that's absolutely right. So we've been going an hour and 7 minutes. So we've gone a little bit past the hour, but it's been great to have a chat with you, Damo. Thanks for sharing what's been happening the last 3 months. I know it's been, a challenging time, and I really appreciate you being open with, what's been happening and just sharing that journey. Make sure you head over to Reseller Down Under's channel if you haven't. Sub to him, get into 1,000 so we can all drop him some super chats on a live.
Let's do that.
We hope to see everyone in and around the channel. If you haven't joined the Australian Reseller group on Facebook, jump over there as well. Myself, Damo, Kieran, and Zach are all admins on there. Make sure you head over there. Would love to see you. Does anyone have anything else to say? Do you have anything, Damo, that you'd like to finish with before we head off?
No, just thank you so much, guys. Remember, we're all in this journey together, even though we all have separate goals. Just stay focused, keep listing, and yes, just have faith that, where you're going and where we're going, we're all going in the same direction. So you will achieve what you want. Just keep at it, guys. Keep at it.
Absolutely. Thanks, everyone. We really appreciate you coming along. And thanks for keeping the chat going. Really appreciate it. And we'll see you next time on This Is Your Reselling Life. Bye, guys.